Hi you guys, today I am filming a tutorial on how to get this look for back to school. I know it's the middle of July and it seems horribly mean of me to even say the words back to school, but a lot of schools around where I live are actually starting really early this year. August 15th and 18th are when the local schools are starting around here, which to me is crazy early because when I was in school, no one started before September. Absolutely no one. I definitely want to make sure that if you guys are starting school early, that I had a nice back to school makeup routine up for you guys. Something that is completely drugstore, including brushes, so it's very inexpensive. Something that's very school appropriate, so you're not going to get in trouble wearing this look to school. At least I hope not. I hope your school isn't super no makeup level strict. And it's easy and quick to do, so you don't have to get up crazy early. So if you guys want to see exactly how I got this look and what I used, keep watching. Alright, so I'm going to get started by using this cute little headband to pull my hair away from my face. I'm going to jump right in. I'm not using any primers, anything like that. I'm just jumping straight in with one of my new favorite foundations. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow Foundation. Now, if you have super oily skin, I would suggest using a matte foundation so it lasts throughout the day. My skin is fairly oily, but it can still handle this. So if you're dry, this would also be an excellent foundation. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of this on my hand. Just so you guys know, I'm in the shade 201, which is Classic Ivory. The brush I'm using is an e.l.f. brush. This is their Beautifully Bare foundation brush. This runs $6. And it's one of my very favorite things for applying foundation right now because it works fast. Because I don't know about you guys, but when I was in high school and college, I did not want to get up extra early to do my makeup. I needed sleep. I was basically evil if I did not get enough sleep. So this is also a very fast routine. Alright, now that our foundation is all blended out, we are moving on to concealer, and I'm using my Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Dark Circle Eraser. This is in the shade Light, so I'm going to pop this underneath my eyes, on the sides of my nose a little bit, under here, on my chin. I'm not really highlighting with this at all because it isn't super lighter than my skin tone. I'm just going in anywhere I need a little bit of extra coverage. Then I'm going to take that same brush and just blend it out. Now I don't like taking this brush super close underneath my eyes, so I'm just using my ring finger to blend out right underneath my eyes. I'm also going to take whatever concealer is left over on my ring finger and just go over my eyelids where I have a little bit of veining to help cover that up. Because I do not have a drugstore eye primer, we are going to be skipping that, but the products I'm using tend to stay on the eyes all day anyway. Now I am going to use my NYX HD Finishing Powder in Banana and a Real Techniques contour brush to go ahead and set underneath my eyes, anywhere I used concealer, and anywhere that gets particularly oily during the day. These pores right here have not been cooperating lately, so they're getting a little extra too. For my cheeks today, I'm using my NYX Blush, and this is in the shade Pinched. You can use pretty much any drugstore blush you like. My favorites are definitely from NYX, and I also really like the CoverGirl True Blend blush. But I'm just grabbing a tiny bit of that and popping it on my cheeks. I am skipping highlight and contour as this is a more minimal makeup look. Of course, if your school is a little bit more liberal when it comes to how much makeup they will allow, then you can definitely add those in. Now, if by any chance you get your blush a little bit too heavy, just grab the brush you used to blend out your foundation, sweep over it a couple times, and it will blend better into your skin and not look quite as bold. For my eyebrows, I am using the NYX Micro Brow Pencil, and this one is in the shade Taupe. I love this one because it has a spoolie, so you can get those practically invisible things in place. Mine are getting a little bit thicker, which is nice. And here is the pencil. I like it a lot. It's super, super fine. I'm just going to go in and I'm just filling in the light spots, kind of just doing a light journal all over, and then filling in where I don't have any hair, and there should be some. Alright, and I'm just going to brush that out a little bit. Now, I know the whole Instagram brow trend is not fully dead yet, unfortunately, but I wouldn't suggest wearing it to school, to be honest. It's very, very heavy and makeup-y, and while it looks great in photos, it's not going to look quite as great under fluorescent lights in your school hallway. Just saying. So I would consider sticking with more of a natural brow. Alright, now that I actually have eyebrows on that you can see, I am going to move on to the rest of my makeup. We did use the concealer to cover up the veins on my eyelids, but I do want to use a bit of a sticky primer. Not a primer, but a sticky base for my eyeshadow today. So I'm using my NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Yogurt. Ooh, I hate these lids. Guys, these lids drive me nuts because they crack so easily. Look at that. It drives me nuts. Mine looks a little bit jacked up because I have to use a knife to sharpen it because my NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil sharpener doesn't fit these. But anyway, it works, and I'm going to just pop this all over my eyelid and blend that in. For my eyeshadow today, I am using the L'Oreal La Palette Nude 1. This is a gorgeous neutral palette. It's very, very affordable. The colors are very similar to the original Naked palette. It does have a small mirror up here, which I never use, but the colors are very, very nice. They're very large pans, and if you decide you want to invest in a drugstore neutrals palette, I believe this runs around $12 to $15, I want to say. Then this one will last you all year long. It's really, really good. I'm starting out by grabbing a super fluffy blending brush, and I'm going in with this color right here, the second one. It's a really pretty neutrally taupe shade that's very, very close to the yogurt pencil we used on the eyelid. And I am just fluffing this out all over the lid. This has a little bit of shimmer, but not so much that one of your teachers is going to flip over it, but just enough to make you look bright and awake. By the way, I am using the Real Techniques Base Shadow Brush because it's nice and large and fluffy, but you can use pretty much any base shadow brush you have. And next I'm grabbing an e.l.f. large crease brush. So we're going with this nice neutral matte brown. I'm just getting that right on there. And I'm taking this into the crease. And I'm just going to blend the daylights out of this. Alright, now I'm just taking a teensy Real Techniques detailer brush, and I'm going to this color at the very opposite end. It's a nice bright champagne shade, and I'm just popping that right in the inner corner for a little bit of highlight. For underneath my eye, I'm taking a little flat elf smudger brush, and I'm going back into that same matte brown shade, and I'm just taking a tiny bit of this right underneath my lash line just to add a little bit of dimension. So I am going to use an eyeliner, but it's going to be the NYX Wonder Pencil in Light, and I'm just using this right on my lower waterline. Just brighten up my eyes a little bit. And I'm going to curl my eyelashes. I am using a Tarte lash curler, but honestly, any lash curler does work well. For years, I used a Revlon curler from the drugstore. And today for mascara, I'm using my Maybelline Lash Sensational Mascara. I love this one. It wears very well. It doesn't flake, and it does hold a curl fairly well. So, ooh. Except for the fact that I am blind and cannot see that far away in my mirror. And of course, totally optional, I am going to put a little bit of mascara on my lower lashes. If mascara on your lower lashes tends to rub or smudge during the day, then of course, skip this step. Also, if you're super blonde, it may not look quite as natural to have a lot of mascara on your lower lashes. So keep that in mind. Alright, our eyes are all done, and as you can see, they still look very natural, just much more brighter, much more wide awake, which is exactly what we were going for. And to finish the whole look off, we are doing the lips. Again, I'm going for a very nude, neutral lip. So I am using my NYX lip liner. This is in the shade Nude Pink. I love this lip liner. As you can see, it's gotten used quite a bit. Now, if you like a matte look, you can either leave it just like this and it'll look nice and matte and pretty, or if you want a slightly more shiny look, I'm using the NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Maple Blondie. Alright, and here is the finished look. I hope you guys like this tutorial. I hope it was helpful for you. If you have any questions, comments, or just want to say hi, I would love to hear from you down in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't yet, I would love it if you'd subscribe to my channel. You can also keep up with me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat. I am pretty much everywhere, and all the links for those are down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye!